So my last post was wildly controversial and it's only been up an hour. I'm not surprised. I said right out the gate that my opinion was going to be very unpopular. And this would not be the first controversial post for me, so we roll with it. But I did want to come back in here and explore that a little bit because although the responses to that video were very mixed across the spectrum, there were a lot of people feeling the same way and then owning the confusion in that. And that is literally what I do as a healer and as a healer for a large group of people, as someone who's leading groups, leading a movement in the best way that I can. My number one goal is to always hold space for wherever you're at on the emotional spectrum. And that's for a lot of reasons. Number one, because it's just plain healthy. And number two, because most of us are deeply in pain and wounded because we're not taught to do this. We go through our lives with people not holding space for us, with people shaming and fighting and blaming and making it not okay to feel whatever it is we need to feel. And there is so much healing in simply the act of feeling your feelings, whatever they are, how conflicted, confusing, icky, uncomfortable, how maybe inappropriate they may seem in light of what's happening now. And there's power in being able to feel whatever it is we truly feel and be held in a place of compassionate witness. So many problems with our society have to do with emotions and how we handle them or not. The big one being, as I've said, we don't know how to hold space for people in their messy, honest emotions. And number two, that there is this fallacy that since we are one species, one society, one group of people, that we should all be feeling the same thing, that there is a right way and a wrong way to feel about everything. We should all be in agreement. And we get very uncomfortable when people within our circle feel something that we think is wrong and they shouldn't feel that. Now, when it comes to things that have real world consequences, like hate and bigotry, violence, abuse, there's a clear moral right and wrong. But when it comes to being a human who's making sense of a very confusing world, we're going to feel all emotions all across the spectrum. And sometimes they might not feel appropriate in the situation. Or sometimes we might come to a conclusion where the people around us just don't. And so many times what happens in that instance is, in order to keep our community and feel safe and be one with the crowd, we'll gaslight ourselves out of those emotions and convince us not to feel that. And when we have these unresolved emotions, that's what trauma is. Both big T trauma and little t trauma. The big horrific things that happen and the small chronic process of having our emotions denied, of having our truths suppressed, of feeling stuck in a moment, in an experience, and we can't move through it because we don't have a safe place and we don't have support to fully process whatever it is that we're feeling. The really interesting thing about all of this is that when we're feeling things deeply, especially things that might not seem to make sense in a moment, we need to remember that as above, so below absolutely applies here. You've heard me talk for months about the fact that what's happening politically and with Donald Trump personally is triggering all of our personal wounds. What's happening out there as a collective is mimicking and mirroring what we're going through now and what we have been through in our lives. So public figures like him and these big dramatic actions will mirror and trigger things we've been through in the past personally. That's why looking at public events, world happenings, is very, very helpful for navigating us inward to do the inner work of digging up things that we had buried or they're repressed, we weren't able to work through. Now, I think it probably shocked a lot of people when I came out there saying, you know what, I'm starting to pity his ass because I have been out here for months cackling and hating him along with the rest of you. But that's because I hold space for that emotion too. A lot of people, especially in New Age spirituality, the people who are love and light only, good vibes only, they don't hold space for the anger and for any of the pettiness. You've seen me be spicy, Gia, and be petty and be bitchy. I hold space for all of my emotions and all of my honest human expression, so long as they do no harm to others. And in one of my group events, I can't remember which one it was, might have been March, might have been April, someone asked the question how we can move out of hate for the other side and into forgiveness. And my answer to that was, what if you don't have to forgive? What if you don't have to move to that place? What if it's healthier for you to be exactly where you are and to honor that anger that you're going through now? Because I will put dollars to donuts that what you're feeling right now about them out there mirrors the wounds you have within about other authoritarian figures, about father figures, about people in positions of authority who have hurt you. And so all of that pain is coming up when we see him, when we see what he's doing. And there's immense value. As I said, there is immense value in being exactly where you're at and letting it ride and feeling it and honoring it and being exactly where you are and not trying to rush yourself out or guilting yourself out of it or rushing yourself to another conclusion. But what is so incredible about that way of healing? Honoring your emotions as a way to heal deep trauma. It's really my path. What's so amazing about that is as you allow yourself to be exactly where you're at, you will find that the healing naturally happens. It will naturally unfold on its own because you're holding yourself in a space where you're able to fully express whatever it needs, whatever you need to express, however it looks, for as long as it takes. That's really all we have to do to heal. And when we can be in that space and honor that space, it does become easier to move out of it when we are ready on our own time. So if you still hate him and you have no pity, great, fantastic. Love that journey for you. If you want to move into pity and just remove your attention from him altogether, great. Love that journey for you. If you are ready to move into a place of forgiveness, empathy, love, I love that journey for you. There is no one way to experience any of this, but honoring where you're at, honoring what is authentic, what is real, and what wants to be felt through you, giving witness to your own emotions, giving witness to others who are processing their own conflicting emotions. This is so deeply healing, so deeply healing. And this is the benefit of having shitty public figures who are going to act a fool and we're going to collectively get really mad. This is our collective healing. This is what I've been saying, this process of fighting him and waking up from him and seeing the truth about the shadows of our American culture for the past however many 100 years. This is our collective healing process. To get together and be furious about it is healing. To get together, to see how pathetic he is and say, oh, it's very odd and very uncomfortable that I suddenly pity him. Weird. Or any emotion in between and beyond. That's what we're doing together. We're emotionally healing. We're moving through the emotional spectrum, and wherever you're at is okay. What do I always say? There's room for everybody at our table. You can come sit with us. You can be in this community. You can feel whatever it is you feel. And I love you, and I honor you. This is a safe place to do that.